So hi, Assemblywoman Angela. How are you?
I'm good, and yourself, Chanel?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to have this sit down with you. We met, I think, when I was maybe 17 or 18 years
Yes.
old. We were doing some work for people in need, and at the time, you were just about to start Angela Cares. And since then, you've been doing some amazing things. I've been following. I'm so excited about it, and I'm excited for our viewers to learn more about the process for how you got there. Now, before you were at Angela Cares, tell me what you were doing.
I was the director at a pharmaceutical medical education company.
Okay.
And when I started there, I started as a coordinator, and I worked my way up, and I became the director. So I was the business liaison between our development company and our business company. We made like a web-based platform for our pharmaceutical clients.
Right. Okay. All right. So doing Angela Cares, I imagine, came with a bit of a leap when you started to do Angela Cares exclusively. Tell me about how you got to the place where you felt comfortable taking that leap and why the mission of Angela Cares is so important.
Okay. So a year prior, in 2010, I was caring for my mom, my grandmother, and I'm like, okay, I see a void. And I started a for-profit business, just helping seniors. And then I found out that seniors didn't have money. Some of them didn't have money, but I still wanted to work with seniors. So I started my nonprofit a year later, and it just spiraled from there.
Okay.
It just spiraled.
And so then you launched Angela Cares.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the evolution of Angela Cares, because I think when you launched, you started off with just the vision of supporting caregivers and then obviously supporting seniors. But then over time, I've noticed you've launched several different programs under Angela Cares. You're doing amazing things. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I had three main projects. One was Here for Seniors. So that is doing case management, social services for seniors, health and wellness, education for seniors. Then I have a program that's called Joining Our Youth and Seniors. And the acronym is JOY.
Yes.
So I say seniors have the knowledge, the wisdom, and then you have youth who are like up and coming. They know that technology. So I'm like, hey, we can just mesh them together. And I work with one of my daughter's old teachers. She had a camp, and I had the seniors. So for the summer, we had them just go into the different senior aid programs, and they will play games and talk to each other, and it was beautiful.
I love that.
Thanks. And then I have the caregivers, caregiver support group. So I was a caregiver. My uncle was a caregiver, but we really didn't have any place to go. So I'm like, okay, let's have a support group to help people who take care of seniors.
Yes.
So that's called Empower Senior Caregivers.
So when you started walking in your passion, you launched the nonprofit, and then after that you ran for office. Tell me about how we made that transition. Well, I shouldn't say transition because you're doing both right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about why you added that to the work that you were already doing.
So I tell people that I was in college, like playing football, and I was drafted. Politics was not part of my agenda.
Okay.
Was not. I was doing my own thing with Angela Cares and being an entrepreneur with my other, work. And the mayor of Jersey City and the Hudson County Democratic Organization, they came to me. And it was on a Saturday afternoon, right after I was having a lunch and learn with seniors. And they asked me to run for the assembly. And my first response, me? So I said, okay, let me think about it. Right. I had 24 hours to think about it. 24 hours. So I went home.
Who'd you call?
So I went home and I called my husband.
Yes.
I went home and I had a conversation with my husband.
Yes.
And then I called, some of my other family members and some friends. And the next day, it was prior to 24 hours, I get a call. Okay, what is your answer? I'm like, it's not 24 hours yet.
Right. They're ready for you to say yes.
So ultimately, the answer was yes.
Why?
And I said yes because a few things. I wanted not to be later on say should've, could've, would've. And number two, I will be able to help more people because I really, truly love helping people. Yes. So those were the reasons why I said yes. I didn't want to go back and say, oh man, what happened? You know, I didn't do it, and now what? No. So I ran, and I said to my husband, all right, there are two things going to happen. I don't get elected, or I get elected. If I don't get elected, I'm still going to work on Angela Cares.
Okay.
If I do get elected, I'm still going to work on Angela Cares.
Right.
So
no matter what.
No matter what.
Yes.
So I got elected overwhelmingly. And now I'm in my second term, and I'm running next year, 2019, and Angela Cares is still thriving.
This is the third time you ran, right? This
Yes,
will be the third time.
This will be the third time, yes.
Okay. Tell me about what your impact is in the State House, because I think that sometimes people hear Assemblywoman, Assemblymen, and they're unclear about what exactly happens when you enter that State House and what you're actually impacting.
Okay, so as an Assemblywoman, the main thing is to legislate. And when I say legislate, we actually write bills so that they could become laws. And when I'm down there and I vote yes or no, my vote impacts 9 million New Jerseyans.
9 million.
9 million.
Tell me about a bill that matters most to you that you specifically advocated for and then it got passed.
Okay, so recently I took the charge on the hair braiding. So as of right in 1980s, there's the cosmetology law where people who want to do cosmetology, they have to go through this rigorous training and get their license.
Right.
Now in 2018, you say, okay, you have hair braiders, people who braid hair, and when they go to these classes, they're not taught how to braid hair. So they have to pay all of this money and take all of these hours to get a license that they don't use.
No, they
So
don't use.
the law that I introduced was to remove hair braiding from the cosmetology license, but have it as its own license underneath cosmetology. So it got conditionally vetoed.
Okay.
Because the governor wanted to make sure that we have safety training.
Okay.
And I was fine with that. You know, I was totally fine with that. So it passed. So as of right now, hair braiders or people who know how to braid hair, they take a class for just the sanitation. And it's only up to 40 hours.
Okay.
And it probably be no more than $1,000. Now before, it was 1,200 hours, up to $20,000 for something that they don't even teach you.
Okay.
And then if you want to braid hair, you take another class up to 50 hours where you get taught the technique and then you do the sanitation. So it has opened up for entrepreneurs.
So much opportunity.
Yes.
Yes.
Think of business schools just to teach hair braiding. Think of business schools just to do the sanitation. Think of marketing. Because if you notice, there's not a lot of marketing for hair braiding.
Right.
But now an entrepreneur can say, all right, I'm going to open up a marketing firm
Yes.
just for hair braiding. And it affects women of color.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yes.
And it allows them to walk in their purpose. I feel like that you're like living, breathing, how to do it, how to walk. For the viewers out there that are interested in taking the step to run for something, what would you say to them?
I will tell them to first research the title that they want to go for, so that office. So if you want to run for council, go and read about what a council person does. Go to your council meeting and see what they do. Start getting involved with the community to see what their concerns are. Don't just open up one day and say, all right, I'm going to run, but you don't know what the council person does, how to figure out how to help your potential constituents.
Have the knowledge.
Have the knowledge. So I didn't have the knowledge as an assembly person, but before I said yes, I went on Google University.
Go Google.
I went on Google. I went on the state website and I was reviewing and finding out what is exactly an assembly person. What do they do? And I remember I only had 24 hours.
Yes.
But I was on
You
Google.
had to learn quickly.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And then as I was running, I was learning more. I was learning more. But before I said yes, I knew what an assembly person did.
Okay.
So if you want to run, make sure you understand what that role is. Because some people just want the title. But let me tell you, I am living proof. That title don't mean anything if you don't know what you're doing. That title don't mean anything if you cannot help your community. So know what you're getting into. And don't be afraid. You will make mistakes. I've made mistakes, but I won't make that mistake again.
Yes.
You know, we all make millions and millions of mistakes, but just try not to make the same mistake over and over and over again, because they're learnings.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
I'm like, you getting me ready to run, Angela.
Oh, but make sure you tell me when you say yes.
Just joking. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Angela. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I really do.
I did too.